I've just left Maupiti, which is possibly my last stop in French Polynesia before I take off to head further west. I'm going to try to stop in a very small atoll called Maupia, which is about 100 miles west of Maupiti. It's possible that I won't make it into this pass because the tides are really unpredictable and the current can be super strong sometimes, but I'm going to go for it anyway, so I'm just sailing a little bit slowly so that I get in tomorrow morning, and we'll see if Maupiti is my last stop or if I can have one more stop before I say goodbye to French Polynesia. Oh my god! I just got buzzed by an airplane. It said marine on the side. I just heard this wee noise and they came right by me. They're turning around. Okay. They are currently over there making a slow circle. Technically, I've been cleared out for a week, so I hope I'm not in trouble. But they're not hailing me. I'm on 16, so I'm guessing that if they wanted to get a hold of me, they would. They are passing by again, though. They're right there now.
Overflight by French Navy aircraft. This is French Navy aircraft calling you on channel 16 Auxiliary.
French Navy Airport, this is the ship that you just flew over?
Yes, good morning. This is French Navy aircraft. To confirm the name of your ship is Jeco?
Yes, that is correct.
Copied. How many persons on board and what is your port of departure and your destination, please?
Yeah, there's just one person on board, just me, and my destination is the Cook Islands, Rarotonga.
Copied. And what is your estimated time of arrival in Cook Island, please?
I am estimating that it will take probably 5 to 7 days to get there, depending on the weather. My boat's kind of slow.
All copied from French Navy aircraft, and I wish you a good sea. And do you have AES interrogator?
I do not have AIS on my boat, I'm sorry.
Okay, have a good sea, and see you later from French Navy aircraft. Thank you for the information.
Yep, of course. Thanks for checking in. Standing by 16. Uh-oh. There's this huge, probably 8-foot-long sailfish, swordfish, I don't know what thing following me in the water. You can kind of see it just swimming behind my boat. I'm going to try to put my GoPro in the water somehow, but I'm not really sure if I can get a shot or not. But this thing is big! I just sailed past a seamount, and I think it was probably hanging out there, and now it thinks I'm a cool whale or something. It's morning. I am within sight of Maupia. Weirdly not nervous about the pass. I kind of just have this very accepting sensation inside of me, inside of my tired brain, that whatever happens it's it's just gonna be what it is. I'll either make it in the pass or I won't, right? There's no need to stress about it. I feel like there's a good chance that I won't. And there's a good chance that I will. 50-50. Yeah, I guess that's it. Eating, the only fruit I could find, fruit/vegetables on the island, was bananas. So I've just been eating bananas for the island being Wapiti for the past week. So I had bananas for breakfast. I am approaching the pass. I read in there's a little guidebook to French Polynesia that the electronic charts have the pass incorrectly. It's not where they say it is. So it's sort of an eyeballing thing. Apparently there's two little poles that are black and white that you line up to go between. The only worry that I have is the current. It's going to be dead against the wind, and I'm not sure if I can fight the current, but we'll see what happens. Okay, I see the sticks. They look like they're pretty white. I think there's just two. I'm not sure if they're on either side or if they're both on one side. I've seen you go between them, but who knows. I just got a VHF call from my friends who have already entered. They said there's 3 to 4 knots of outgoing current and it's dead against the wind, which is kind of a death sentence. Well, that sounds harsh. I cannot motor against that, period. So I'm gonna try. I'm gonna take down my mainsail because it's dead into the wind anyway. And that way if I have to turn around, it goes faster. It's really narrow, and they said in the very beginning of the entrance, it's wide enough to turn around, but once you're in, you're pretty committed. So I'm just gonna poke into the entrance and see what it feels like. But if I don't have a sail up, then maybe if I have to turn around, I'll just kind of get spun around and washed out in a straight line, not into the reef. We'll see. All right, I'm coming up to a split patch on the water, which means that this is the entrance of the pass where the current is coming out. So I'm going to go into the wind, take down my sail, put on the engine, and just see what happens. If I'm not able to get in, I will put the sail back up and just sail back and forth. I'm in the lee of the atoll, so it's nice and flat. It's 9:45, I'll wait until 12 and then try again. Otherwise, I'm just gonna keep going to the cook. The thing is, today's Friday. I can't arrive until Thursday because of the weather system down there. So it's gonna be another 6 days at sea if I'm not able to get in here. Okay, I'm full throttle heading towards this pass. My speed is dropping, 1.7 knots. I'm kind of losing my steerage. Oh shit. Yeah, I have no steerage really. 1.6 knots. Yeah, it's not gonna happen. I got down to 1. Whew. Look at this whirlpool. Whoa. Alright. It's actually pushing me back towards the shore. Gecko stuck in a whirlpool! Ah! Fuck. This is crazy. Looks like we are putting the sail back up and waiting another 2 hours to try again, and then just carrying on. Well folks, I thought I was done with this waiting outside the pass game, but apparently not. I have 2 hours to kill. I'm pretty tired, but I definitely need to sit in the cockpit for the next 2 hours because I'm very close to land. It's about 10 minutes after I ditched on the pass, and there's a big squall, so I'm kind of glad I didn't go for it anyway because I would have been in the atoll for this. Yeah, just, you know, keeping me occupied for the time that I'm waiting. Yeah. It's 12:15, 2.5 hours have passed, and I'm trying for the pass again. I've just come to terms with taking off, and I've sort of been planning my route. Sorry, I just ate something with curry. I'm a little snuffly. Well, it's goodbye French Polynesia. I'm not gonna make it in the pass. I got down to half a knot, and I wasn't anywhere near the entrance, so it would be foolhardy to think that I could get in. Once you're down to less than a knot, you don't have a lot of steerage. So anyway, I've had a really amazing time sailing back and forth in front of this atoll. It's so beautiful and peaceful. I've just been remembering all the good times that I've had in the Tuamotus. I spent a year in the Tuamotus. I would have really loved to spend another 2 nights in an atoll, but sometimes it's better to enjoy these things from a distance. Really, I truly believe the most idyllic way to view land is from sea, because all the beaches look like they're fine sand instead of coral. The trees are just this beautiful blobby green. You can see all the colors of the water. I'm listening to the surf on the reef. It's very beautiful. I'm a little sad to be leaving, to be honest. And next stop, Cook Islands. Goodbye, French Polynesia! I love you! Woo! Okay, on to more practical matters. I have to sail insanely slowly to not get in too early to the Cook Islands, which is kind of a bummer because it's like holding back your racehorse. Gek is totally a racehorse. I've already extended the route, so let's take a look at the chart. So this is Mapiha. I came from Mapiti and sailed over here last night. And where I'm going is here, Rarotonga. This is the only place that you can currently clear into the Cook Islands because of their COVID measures. The harbor is wide open to the north and it's northerlies until Thursday, so I can't get in until Thursday. Today is Friday. So basically what's happening is that there's a big system that's coming through the Southern Ocean like this, curling the wind around so it kind of goes west first and then north and then south. So what I'm trying to do is to get in after the wind kind of starts to go from west to south. The reason I'm thinking of staying north as far as possible is that when the wind does go west, I can turn down and not be beating into the wind, but have it more on my beam, or at least not be going in the wrong direction. It's also adding miles to my trip, which is good. But I'm still getting in too quickly, even if I average 3 knots, so I'm thinking maybe I'll even... The thing is, I have to be really careful because at some point the southerlies start on Thursday, but I'm not sure when because it's too far out to forecast still. And with my Garmin, I can only get weather for specific GPS points, so it's kind of tricky. It's a little bit of guesswork. I don't want to put myself too far north, but I'm also trying to waste some time. Since I wasn't really prepared to leave today, I don't really have any weather, so I'm using my Garmin InReach. This is my only device that I have for communications at sea. I get 40 texts a month, send and receive, included, all in the 40, of 160 characters per text. I can also request weather at a specific GPS point, which makes it tricky for longer term passage planning like this one, where it's a pretty dynamic weather system that I'm trying to get around. But what I'm doing is just getting a forecast for where I am right now for the next couple days. I think the wind is supposed to be pretty strong this weekend, like into the 20 to 25s, which is kind of a bummer because I need to go really slowly to not overshoot Rarotonga and get in before Thursday. So I cannot go. I have to average 3.5 knots for this entire sail in order to get in on time, which really sucks because that's super slow. And for the next 2 days it's blowing 20 to 25, so that's impossible. So I'm gonna try to heave 2 right now. Alright, the head sail is backed. Now I'm gonna try to turn my tiller up to the weather. Okay, I don't like the way the jib sheet is just wrapped around the shrouds on the upwind side. It's really bad chafing and also not good for my rig. So I'm gonna try to rig something up with the fair lead that I usually use as a boom preventer to try to get this sheet off the shrouds. I'm using the leeward jib sheet as the one that I'm going to re-lead, and then I'll shift the load from the windward jib sheet that's currently wrapped around the shrouds to the leeward jib sheet and slowly try to ease the tension into the block on the rail rather than all the way around the shrouds, and then just sort of play around with it until I get to a place where it looks happy. Okay, now I have the jib sheet led so that it's not chafing on anything. I'm actually able to get the jib even further in, and looking at my course now, I have actually achieved a more proper hove to situation. This is really cool. So the wind is pretty much on my beam if I look up at my wind arrow. It's still a little forward of the beam, but I think I can do some more tweaking, and I am a lot closer to my rum line than I was before. I'm going like this. I want to be going this way, but before I was going almost due south. So I'm gonna see if I can get the head sail in a little more. But you know, this is really good practice for if I ever have to do this in an actual storm situation where everything is way more intense. At least I'll have done it. Morning one of my journey to the cooks. I'm still hove to. It was a really nice night of sleep because I basically don't have to worry about squalls or anything. It's pretty uncomfortable though, really rolly, and some waves breaking over the side of my boat. It's pretty wavy out here, pretty windy. Today's the biggest day of wind. I've sort of estimated that by the end of the day today, unheave to and start making actual headway. I'll see how that goes for about 24 hours. If I'm still going too fast, I'll heave to again, but I'm hoping I can be done with this soon because it's not very pleasant. Well, another day crossed off the list. It's very strange to be on a passage but trying to go slow. Normally I sort of get excited by the amount of miles that I've made in the day. I like looking at my track on Navionics and seeing how much further I have to go and what I think I'm gonna get in, but these next couple days are all about just going really slowly, and it's not about going fast to get in at a certain time, but going slow to get in at a certain time. It's kind of strange. It's kind of flipping my whole at sea mentality on its head, which maybe isn't bad. But it's sort of taken away a little bit of the joy of being at sea. I mean, right now it's probably blowing 20 to 25, beautiful wind. I'm super underpowered with just a triple reefed main up, still going about 4 knots, but could just be flying. It's been a pretty good day. Life got a lot better once I unhove to. I am going pretty fast, but the wind's supposed to drop over the next couple days. So I hope that if I keep up tiny sails, eventually I'll slow down enough that I'm not going too fast for my plan. So anyway, good night. So I just jived over for Fiji. The Cook Islands are getting another north wind in the coming days. So basically, I am just sloshing around at sea, trying to drag my heels, put on the brakes as much as I can. To make a 400-mile passage takes 6 days, which really sucks because I've been sailing super underpowered, super rolly, really nasty, squally weathers, like behind me. It's been like this all morning. And I'd basically have to do this for the next 4 days to get in. But then starting Saturday, Sunday, there's north winds in Rarotonga, which means I can't go anyway. So in a way, it's a relief to be heading for Fiji. This wasn't the plan. Actually, the plan was to only be out for 1 night. There's a couple concerns I have. One is that I'm only half full on drinking water because I thought I would go to the Cooks and there's water on the dock. It's really easy to get it. I should be fine. I just have to be really careful. The other is that I don't really have very many freshies. Also, I'll be fine. I'll survive. Less important than drinking water. So I'm just gonna be super rationing my water and maybe not putting any salt in my food or eating anything salty. Yeah, I think I should have enough definitely for 2 weeks, which is all it should take to get to Fiji, but I want to be careful. So anyway, there's another squall that's about to hit behind me. So I'm gonna go down below and then I'm gonna shake some reefs out of the main and actually start sailing for real, start eating some miles, working towards a destination. In a way, I'm happier doing this, even though I mean, it's just been a really shit past 2 days, so at least I'm actually going somewhere. Wowsies. Yeah. It's pretty nasty out here. Really sloppy. It's starting to get nice again. There's still the odd squall on the horizon behind me, but the seas are way down, the wind is way down, and I'm on my way to Fiji. It's so crazy. I set out thinking I was doing a one-night passage, and instead I'm doing a 1,500-mile passage. I am sad to miss the cooks, but it was a hard one because you just can't be in that harbor with a northerly, and there were just constant northerlies. Yeah, sitting in the cockpit for the first night since I left, I guess, because it's been pretty nasty weather up until this point, and I've just sort of been hiding. There's kind of squalls all around me, which always makes me nervous when the sun is setting, but I don't have a ton of sail up, so I think it'll be okay. Thanks for watching. I'm editing this in a really rough anchorage right now, and I just finished and I feel like I'm seasick. There's westerlies that are in right now, and it's, wait, let me show you some of the other boats. Oh yeah. It's not pleasant. I'm starting to feel a little queasy. Thank you guys for watching and subscribing and liking these videos. Thank you to all of my patrons who are supporting me and making this possible. If you'd like to become a patron, my Patreon is patreon.com/wintippy. For one-time donations, my PayPal is paypal.me/wintippy. Thank you guys so much for all of that. If you'd like merchandise, join the merch club. There's a link in the description below for merch, and also all the Patreon, PayPal, etc. links are down below as well. I'm excited for my next video in 2 weeks' time. I ran into some pretty nasty weather, so I show that, and we find out what it's like to be stuck down below for a couple of days because the cockpit was just such a spray zone. Very exciting times. Thank you, Tish, for helping me schedule these videos and get them up onto YouTube on time. And with further ado, shouldn't have started that sentence. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Patrons, I'll see you guys next week with a snack.